All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of To the Show Baseball Podcast. Today's episode, we're dipping into the Rays system, one of their newest members as of 2024 into their organization, Matthew Etzel. Matthew, I know, the off season's coming to an end. You got spring training right around the corner here. I kind of just want to start it off like, how's the off season been? What kind of things have you been up to this off season?
It's been a lot of fun. I spend my off season over in Houston, and I train with some guys at a place called DST, Dynamic Sports Training. I actually started there last year, and they've allowed me to put some weight on and put some muscle on, and they've got some cages in their facility to pretty much work on anything I want. So it's the perfect spot for the off season.
And has that been a place that you've been training at every offseason since you turned pro, or is that something new? I guess how long have you been there?
Just actually started last year for it's the first time I really like worked out with some coaches to assist me with everything. Usually I would just spend my off season with either other baseball players I knew in college or one of my friends from back home. I'd just go to the gym at 8 in the morning with him every day. And yeah, I was very excited to get into a facility where everything was kind of set in stone for baseball related lifts and everything, and it's helped me shape my body to where it needs to be for a long season.
Well, I have some. I have a couple questions later that I'm going to ask you a little later on
Mm-hmm.
about showing some love to back home because I know you're a Texas guy. I know you're right outside
Uh,
Houston, where you grew up. So I always like showing some love to where you came from. But I got to ask you from the gate. Obviously, 2024 was a pretty significant year for you. You know, you were involved in a trade. So I
mhm.
know that that was probably something that you maybe weren't expecting or anything like that. But can you kind of take me through, I guess, well, first of all, how did you find out? I always hear like some minor league guys that sometimes it's like I found out from the Jeff Passan tweet or like I found out from a teammate or how did you find out?
So we were like getting ready for a game. I'd already hit in the cage. We were doing some outfield drills before BP on the field, and our manager comes out and makes like a swinging motion to me from the dugout while I'm in the outfield. I'm thinking like I already hit the cage. What was he calling me in for? And he just took me straight to the office, and one of the Orioles guys was on the phone, and they just gave me that information. And it's obviously like near the deadline, so you're thinking about, oh, I could possibly get traded, or I'm probably going to get traded. But once it turned to reality, it was like, oh, I'm actually getting traded. So it was definitely a once in a lifetime experience. One of those things like you never know what it's going to feel like until it actually happens. And yeah, I had a bunch of adrenaline going when they told me. And but yeah, I've been excited to be with the Rays now, and everything's been great.
Yeah, I feel like too, like a lot of the casual fans that are on Twitter or social media. Obviously, when you see the Jeff Passan tweet or the Ken Rosenthal or whoever's announcing the trades, right? And it's like, okay, like you see the major league piece, that goes the other way, and it's just like, okay, he was just traded for these three prospects. Some fans are
Yeah.
like, whatever, like these guys are make believe guys or whatever, but for you though, obviously, like getting traded and you're not the major league piece in a trade. It's like your life probably got pretty crazy right after that because you had to go out to Montgomery then and report to the Rays. And so how crazy was that? After you did kind of find out, your manager told you, it's like I'm sure you had to go back to the apartment, throw a bag
Mhm.
together, and drive to the next location. So what was that like for you?
It was definitely a long travel, couple of days of travel. We were on our longest road trip of the season
Oh,
in Akron, so about 6 hours from back home in Bowie. And I got notified about the trade around probably 4 p.m. Um, during the pregame, and was just waiting for some calls, see when I would travel and everything. And I think they told me around like 7 o'clock that I would fly back to Bowie, grab all my stuff, and then hit the road all the way to Montgomery. And I ended up driving it 12 hours straight all the way through. And
man.
I told myself I was gonna stop when I got tired, and ended up just not getting tired and made it all the way there. So it's definitely a long drive, my longest drive I've made. But yeah, once I got to Montgomery, I was ready to go.
Yeah, I'm sure you're probably running on a little bit of maybe adrenaline. I don't know if it's adrenaline or if it's just like nerves, where it's just like, yeah, I'm going to a new team, all new teammates, new organization. Obviously, it's a lot of
Mhm.
change for you. So I did want to ask you a little bit too about like once you do get to Montgomery and you do join your new organization. What were some of the challenges, I guess, right out of the gate? Obviously, like, I mean, I know you had to probably learn all of your new teammates and things and coaches and
Mhm.
things like that. But what were some things that you took away from it?
I'd say like the biggest challenges you're saying
Yeah,
with it. So I think the biggest challenges were just like the schedule difference and like the philosophy of the orgs. Just the way they do pregame and everything. The Orioles we would hit a ton before the games in the cage, and the Rays was more routine based. So guys don't take as many swings before the games, but they focus more on high intent with every swing you take. Where the O's, I was in the cage like 45 minutes before every game, taking mixed BP and just making it really challenging on myself before the games. It was kind of a complete switch when I got to the Rays. But once I settled in and kind of figured out why they were doing everything they did, I started having a little bit success from a slow start. But once I kind of got comfortable with everybody on the team and the coaches, started to play a lot better.
so I know you just mentioned like some of the pregame stuff that was a little different between the two orgs, but in regards to I guess once you do get to the race system, did they talk about anything that they saw in your game or that they wanted you to tweak? Like did they see anything or have any conversations with you like that?
Oh yeah, they just kind of let me play the first few weeks. Just kind of get to know me a little bit since I'm a new face to them as well. And they just kind of gave me a few pointers along the way to the end of the season. Because I've been playing around 80, 90 games at that point. So they kind of just let me ride out the rest of the season. And we've been getting a little bit more in depth this off season through these camps I've gone to and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, and I gotta ask too because I feel like it's like either one way or the other. But I've had some guys on this offseason around minor league baseball that were involved in trades for guys. Like
Mhm.
I had two guys from the Luis Ariz trade and a few others throughout the league this past year. And I always get like split answers on this, but some guys are just like, I was looking up stats on the guy that I was traded for. I wanted to see how he was doing. I wanted to I didn't, I was just curious, I just wanted to see what they traded me for. And some guys are like, no, don't care. Like, that they, that's, it's whatever. Like, it doesn't bother me. But which end are you on of that scale?
I usually don't care. Like it was a little bit different because I got traded for a pitcher,
Yeah.
so it's kind of hard to like compare. But I will say a funny story was when I got traded. I was in the Eflin trade,
Yep.
so Eflin went to the Orioles, and when Passan tweeted out the trade, it said my name and two other minor league players, or I think it said three minor league players, and that's when I realized, wait, that's two other guys I know from our org. So I was waiting for that information to come out. And the two guys that actually got traded with me were two guys I was roommates with through spring
Oh,
training or the affiliates. So I knew them pretty well. And I was like, from what I know from them and how I played with them, I definitely thought that the Rays got the good side of the trade.
would you
So,
say as well, like, with you being traded, it wasn't just you, like, it wasn't like a one for one, like you were the only guy, like the fact that you had some familiarity with two guys that you said you roomed with in spring, like, did that help at all? Like kind of going to the new org and having at least like two familiar faces with you,
yeah, for
going in?
sure. hmm It was nice, like, just knowing that even though I'll have a lot of new faces in the Rays org to meet and learn everybody's names, it was nice to know I had a couple guys come in with the same situation and everything, and definitely made it a little bit more comfortable, I guess you could say.
Did you have obviously you got, you were within a team in the AL East and you got traded to another team in the AL East, but
Mhm.
was there a little sigh of relief when it wasn't the New York Yankees that were trading for you and you were gonna have to lose all of this?
Oh yeah, that's for sure. I haven't been clean faced for a few years now, but at the end of the day, if I have to, I'll go through it. But definitely excited I get to keep growing it out.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, I know you just said you haven't been. When is the last time you've been clean shaven?
Um, I'm gonna have to say I think it was actually the end of spring training, or it was the end of the season, my first short season.
It's
I
been a
actually
few
had
years.
it was like about 2 years, a little bit more than two.
Okay.
Um, I made a bet with my American Legion coach that if they won the national championship at American Legion, I'd clean shave. And I was thinking like they were going to get there, but I didn't think they were actually going to win the whole thing. And they ended up pulling through and won the whole thing. So
Mhm.
sent him a video of me shaving my beard off, getting a nice clean face, and it was nice. It was their first time winning the World Series for
Oh,
American Legion too. So,
so it was a little satisfying too, because it's like,
oh yeah, I was
it's for a good
very
cause.
glad to shave
Yeah.
it for that reason.
Good cause right there. I don't blame you one bit. But I did I I was kind of looking at some of your numbers and I did notice something. And usually when I see a guy with a big burly beard and everything, I'm like, this guy's gonna hit like 20 plus home runs this year. He's gonna just barrel the ball down your throat type thing. You're stealing bags left and right.
Mhm.
You're still 45 in 2024 between the two orgs. Is that something that you've always kind of prided yourself in? Is your speed and I guess even utilizing it on defense as well? Is that something you've kind of always had?
Yeah, absolutely. I've gained a little bit of weight throughout the last few seasons, putting on muscle, but it hasn't slowed me down at all. And my whole thought process is I'll gain as much muscle as I can as long as it doesn't slow me down, and it hasn't so far. So I'm sure if I had a clean face and was a little slimmer, it would make a little bit more sense the way I play. But yeah, I definitely take speed as a huge factor in my game.
No, I love it. I mean, because sometimes when I think of the beards, I think of guys like Evan Gaddis back in the day, and
Yeah.
Mike Napoli's big old beard that he had, and he was just hitting nukes all over the place. But for you in your defensive, I was looking at some of your positions you played as well, and I saw you spent some time in all three outfield spots and
Mhm.
at first base as well. Is that something like going forward, like that you're comfortable doing, like kind of like, every given night just to get the bat in the lineup, like, being in left or right or center, or even first base, like you did
Mhm.
this past year? Is that something you kind of like expect going forward?
Yeah, I love to be comfortable with as many positions as I can and just learn as much as I can. It definitely helps to be a little versatile um, throughout the outfield or first base. And as long as I can play everything to the best of my ability and try and get above average, that's definitely what I'm looking forward to do.
So spring training is right around the corner. We got
Mhm.
less than a month, especially when this comes out, it'll be less than a month
Mhm.
to report date for everybody down in spring training, and it's your first one as a member of the Rays organization. What kind of things are you looking forward to in your first spring training with the Rays?
Just kind of getting a feel for how they hold their spring trainings and the schedules and what type of work they like to do. I've already kind of seen it through the camp that I'm at right now and the strength camp I went to a month and a half ago. And I've gotten a good feel of learning everybody's names and kind of just learning the org. It's my big thing I'd like to do is just learn the org, learn everybody's names, and get as much information out of everybody as I can to help me throughout the season.
All right, so this is the part of the show here where I kind of like to dip into, where you came from before
Mhm.
you turned professional, and I always think it's big because obviously, the places that we're going to talk about kind of molded you into who you are today and got you
Yeah.
to where you are in professional baseball. So, I got to start off. You're the first guy that I've had. I've probably done a little over 130-ish, 140 of these episodes, and
Mhm.
you are the first guy that I've had on the show that went to University of Southern Mississippi. So and Panola College, I
Yeah.
was not familiar with them until I looked at your profile. So can
Mhm.
you kind of just take me on the road? Obviously, going to Panola and then getting to Southern Miss. Like, how did that all come to fruition?
So the very start, I actually went to Texas A&M for my first semester, and I had just come off of like a knee surgery from football in high school, so I wasn't to my like full abilities that I was. Nor did I think I was kind of good enough for the SEC yet. Um, so they were either going to redshirt me or I was going to go JUCO, and I just felt like if I kind of just sat around, not playing for a year, I wasn't going to get any better. So decided to go to Panola. There was a guy, Austin Boast, that was at A&M who went to Panola previously, and he said it was a great spot. And my older brother, he actually also played college baseball, 3 years at U of H and 2 at Incarnate Word. And he had a volunteer assistant coach that also went to Panola and went to Arkansas after, and he said it was a great spot for him. So two guys saying it was a great spot. I went ahead and just took a visit over there and ended up loving it. And once I got there, I got to know the head coach, Todd Shelton, and he pretty much formed me into the type of baseball player I am today. Kind of taught me what I'm good at, taught me the basics of the swing, and really just simplified everything for me. I took what I could from him the first year I played and applied it to the second year and had a breakout season, and ended up committing to Southern Miss after that. Um, Southern Miss was probably the best decision I've ever made in my life. It's definitely probably one of the best programs you could go to in the U.S. We were really gritty. We had a huge bond with everybody on the team. It was like all 40 of us were close and together throughout the season. And, we've had Southern Miss has had around 8, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more, 40 straight 41 seasons through
Yeesh.
college baseball. So, yeah, they just, once I got there and we got going, we just won ball games and so much fun, especially the fans there as well. Not a lot of people know we averaged around 5,500 fans during the season per game.
Baseball?
Yeah,
Wow.
so
Wow.
it's
That's
definitely
a
a
that's legit
unique.
fan base.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a unique ballpark. There's a thing called the right field roost, where people will drive in their cars into the stadium and set up a little tailgate and watch the game. Um, it's definitely an experience. I want to go over there and watch it. I still haven't watched the game from the stands for myself, and I think it would be an amazing experience to go through that.
Gosh, you're selling me on this to get down to Hattiesburg. Like
Yeah.
it's I went to University of Missouri and
Mhm.
our baseball program did not draw anything close to that. I don't even know if they hit that in a season. And you guys did that every game. That's crazy,
Yeah.
man. That's cool. I was gonna tell you, like, I didn't really know much about Southern Miss baseball program, and I kind of knew a little bit of the football program. I knew in the last like few years they're kind of playing some bigger games, and
Yeah.
they had that quarterback in the NFL, Nick Mullins.
Brett
Who,
Favre also was actually
oh,
Southern Miss alum, so
yeah, I guess I am forgetting about
it's
that one.
one of the
That's a
big ones.
pretty big one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got Brett Favre as well, but yeah, I knew a little bit of the football program recently. I know they've been in some bowl games and all that stuff for the last couple of years. Man, baseball that is like That is cool. That's cool to hear. That's probably might need to look that up and maybe add it to
Yeah.
the bucket list for college stadiums. All right, I did see on your Southern Miss profile, you majored in finance, and
Mhm.
there's a question I like to ask guys: if you were not playing professional baseball right now, what would you be doing with your life?
So I'm kind of like 50-50 on whether I'd want to still be involved in some type of baseball role or if I'd just go back to my roots from college, go into finance. And I've always been really good at math and enjoyed it and not liked pretty much any of the other subjects from high school and everything. So one of the few that actually enjoys doing stuff related to math. And yeah, I'd go do what I could with my finance degree.
So you would picture yourself as a finance bro if you weren't playing?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
But I don't know if I could see myself doing that, but definitely it would be if I had to. I would
Okay.
go through with it.
Yeah, see, I was complete opposite, where I was one of those guys that, I wanted to major in journalism, and I looked at like what major would I have to do the least amount of math in, because
Yeah.
math was just never my thing. And hey, journalism degree, you can just write, and I liked it, so that's why I chose it. But okay, so I peeked your IG, I peeked some other things, and I couldn't find this answer, and I'm gonna be surprised when you tell me. So in your free time, say you got a day off, the Mondays off during the season or in the off season, you got some free time, maybe after you get off of this. What are you doing in your free time?
I'm actually a big video game guy.
Okay.
Um, uh, I have my gaming laptop I'm using right now for the interview, and I'll usually just be playing whatever games on there. Other than that, I like to keep up with other sports. Uh, During the off season, I go golfing a lot. It's kind of like my other main hobby. So golf and video games are probably the top two.
I'll be honest with you. Every time I ask that question, I get two answers. I get golfing and I get video games. So
Yep.
you fit right into professional
Hmm.
baseball. Um, have you been? What are you playing these days? Have you put in the amount of hours I've heard around minor league baseball on Call of Duty, or what are you up to?
I haven't played Call of Duty as much now.
Okay,
I haven't like enjoyed it too much. Usually I'll go through rotation of like I play a lot of Overwatch too right now. When the season starts up and MLB The Show comes out, I'll play a lot of that.
got your real 99.
Oh yeah, I did last
Okay,
year.
there we
That was
go.
nice. We
So that was fun.
me, Mac Horvath, and Enrique Bradfield were playing trios with all of our real 99s, and it was a lot of fun to
It's a good
see our
trio right
guys hit
there.
500-foot balls to
Oh yeah.
the outfield. So yeah, other than that, I'll play games like CS:GO, Dead by Daylight, Rainbow Six Siege, kind of games like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I like it. I like how diverse it is too. I feel like all the guys are just like, I'm either on COD or Fortnite. It's like, come on,
yeah,
you gotta find something new, man. Like you gotta play something new these days. But I'm bad at COD. I don't like hand up. I thought I was good back when I was like in high school, and then nowadays like I'm just getting like pummeled out there. So
yeah. I'm
um,
also a big chess guy right now.
ooh, okay.
So been playing that the last 2 years.
Are
Um,
you in the you play online?
mhm.
Okay. I've recently started watching some videos on some guys that I think they're streaming it on Twitch now, but I've been like
Yeah.
kind of low key interested in watching it because it's very interesting to me.
Mhm.
The CEO of Driveline, Kyle Body, he streams
Mhm.
himself playing chess, and
Oh, really?
been intrigued a little bit to watch it. He's pretty good. But yeah, that's interesting. I like that. Uh, okay, I got a couple questions left before we let you slide here, but obviously you're a Texas guy, and you grew up right outside Houston, and told you I was going to show you some love to your neck of the woods there. So had a lot of Texas guys on this offseason, the guys that played college in Texas or grew up in Texas. And I know it. I just moved to Dallas. I'm very familiar now with, the Texas, high schools and the competition down here. And they're right up there with California, Georgia, Florida. What was it like for you growing up and playing baseball and just trying to compete against all the athletes here in Texas?
I'd say the competition level for high school was really good. There was a lot of standout guys, I would say. It would be like one day it'd be like you're facing an average guy, and the next day you'd be facing a draft prospect. Um, there's a few notable guys I faced. Mason Wynn,
That's a
the
good one.
shortstop for the Cardinals, I think.
Yep.
He pitched against us, and I think he hit 98 and touched 99 on me that day. Um, so not a lot of people know him for his pitching, but he can throw the ball from the mound. And there's another guy that was in our district, Braden Fisher. I think he's with the Dodgers organization. Uh, he got drafted, I think, out of high school in around the fourth or fifth round. So there was definitely a big mix of some guys that could play some baseball in our district. And yeah, select ball was also, I think, really good competition. I played a lot of travel ball for C2 and Premier League, and definitely be some prospects out there throwing in the mid 90s and whatnot from high school, and some guys that could hit the ball pretty well. So I kind of didn't get like my strength super early whenever I was younger, so I struggled a little bit, but once I grew into my body, there was just kind of a year where everything kind of clicked. And yeah, I mean, competition was good. There's definitely so many people in Houston. There's definitely a game to play every day from all the travel ball. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I always think like I went to high school in the suburbs of St. Louis there in the Midwest, and I always like to kind of joke that I feel like the guy maybe in your area, like maybe one of the worst guys on the team, probably would have been a top 3 player on all of our high school teams. Like it's just so much better down there. Not a knack on St. Louis. They're coming out with, guys in my area was like Tanner Houck and, the list goes down like Jake Odorizzi, all over. They're all over minor league baseball, but Texas, man, whole different breed. I did have this question though for you. I have not spent a summer in Texas yet. Which heat is worse? Is it Florida heat or Texas heat?
I live near the water, near the Gulf. So when it gets really hot in like the upper 90s or maybe touching 100, it's also extremely humid.
Okay.
So I think the humidity is where it kind of gets me a little bit worse.
Okay.
Even at nighttime, you'll kind of go outside and you'll just start sweating, even though it's nighttime from the humidity. But there's definitely been some days in Florida after it rains where it's pretty similar. But I think sometimes Texas is a little bit hotter than Florida, and sometimes Florida is a little bit hotter in a way than Texas. But they're pretty similar, I have to say.
Yeah. I might struggle this summer. I'm in the Dallas area, so it's like I know it's not as humid as like the Houston area, but
They can get really hot up there too.
still hot. Very, very hot. All right. So I don't know how like big into like as a sports fan you are. I know Houston obviously has, some major teams down there, and growing up you had like, the Astros in their heyday, and obviously, they were winning World Series as of not even 7, 8 years ago. But who were some of your favorite athletes growing up? It doesn't just have to be baseball, but who did you kind of like growing up?
Um, I was a big David Ortiz guy, big Poppy growing up.
Oh,
I loved watching him play. 34 has always been my favorite number. Um, but other than football, I was a big James Harden guy. Fear the beard, I guess you could
oh yeah,
say.
love that.
Um, today I'm a big LaMelo Ball fan, just because he's kind of like around my age. Watching him, some other guy my age, doing what he does is pretty incredible to see. And then trying to think when I was a kid, I think Lance Berkman was also one of my favorites, and Roy Oswalt as well from the Astros. I grew up going to a bunch of Astros games, so I was pretty familiar with their team and everything. Uh, yeah, it's just been kind of how it is.
Yeah, I grew up in St. Louis, obviously going to a lot of those like Cardinals Astros games, and
Mhm.
that like Killer Bees team. I know you're a little younger than I am, but that
Yeah.
Killer Bees team in 2005, I will always say this, that is the best team to never win a World Series.
Yeah.
Like, that team was incredible. I love that team. It was one of my favorites, man, and I love the David Ortiz thing. I always was number 5 for everything for Nomar. So like you being 34 with Ortiz, like I love it.
Hmm.
That's how it goes. All right, I have one final question for you here, and actually, are you a food guy?
I am. I actually
Okay,
do like to cook.
okay. I enjoy cooking as well. I have really got into that trend over the last couple of years. I think since COVID, it kind of like just started. I just wanted to start cooking since I was home all the time. But I'm going to go to the other side of things here. So, not home cooking, not like fancy restaurants. I need a Mount Rushmore from you. So, I need your top 4, no particular order, on restaurant chains. They can be drive through or sit down. What would you put up there?
Definitely have to put Whataburger up there for fast food.
Very Texas
That's
of
for
you.
sure. It's hard to beat Olive Garden's all you can eat pasta.
Yes, sir.
Always go there. There's a lot of good Tex-Mex down in Texas. Um, so I think, not sure if it's a chain, but there's a place called Pappasitos in
Okay.
Texas. It's probably the best Mexican food I've ever had.
Are they up my way or is that just a Houston thing?
I've seen some outside of Texas.
Okay.
Um, I'm not sure. I think there actually might be one in Florida. Yeah, there actually is one. I don't know if they're related though. I don't
Okay.
think they
No, it's
are.
okay. I just was curious because I always like trying some new spots. You never can turn down a
Yeah,
good Tex-Mex spot.
if you ever go to Houston, go to
Okay.
Pappasitos. It's
Okay.
some of the best enchiladas you'll ever have for sure, or fajitas. Uh, last one. You're saying like more of a chain
Yeah.
type
Just it
restaurant?
can be sit down, it can be drive through, fast food.
Where you said Whataburger. I'm gonna have to go Chipotle.
Yeah, I knew that was
Chipotle
coming.
and Qdoba. Um,
Okay.
I might actually like Qdoba a little bit better than Chipotle
Really?
because you get the free queso and guac from Qdoba. That's pretty hard to beat, and they give you
It
more
is.
food. Um, but yeah, I guess I'll say Qdoba.
Okay. Yeah, I get like 3 of the same ones every time. I get Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, and Texas Roadhouse are usually the 3 that I get. So I'm glad you kind of showed a little bit of not the Chick-fil-A. I mean, I like Chick-fil-A, don't get me wrong, but like there's much better out there.
The only thing with Chick-fil-A is I feel like it gets a little bit expensive if you're getting more than just a meal, and it
Yep.
doesn't fill me up as much when I just get the meal.
Yep.
So that's usually why I put it down a little bit. But the food definitely is one of my favorites taste wise. So
Oh yeah, always consistent too. Love
yeah.
it. All right, honorable mention. This is the last question I have. Since we are on the food topic here, I've had a few Texas guys on this offseason, and every single one of them. I had Grant Anderson on the other day with the Texas Rangers. He gave me a spot. I had Justin Slayton with the Red Sox on. He gave me a spot. Chase Sugar's giving me a spot. I need a barbecue place from you. Where
I got
is
one.
the best barbecue place in the state of Texas?
The best I've been to is Truth Barbecue in Houston.
Truth.
I
Okay.
believe one of the guys from Truth Barbecue was on Master Chef.
Oh,
Um, I think I remember seeing that. But it's just some of the best I've had pretty much around the Houston area for
looks
sure.
like the sides look incredible. I'm already I
Oh,
know you.
the sides are actually my favorite part.
Okay.
Not a lot of barbecue places like will have good barbecue and great sides. I'd say their sides are almost maybe if
That's
not better than the barbecue. It's pretty unbelievable.
all right. Me and the wife will go down to Houston at some point. And I make a list of these. Like these are saved in my notes. I have about 5 or 6 now that I'm gonna be like Guy Fieri out here just trying all of them one day. But appreciate that one. But
Yeah.
Matthew, thank you so much for hopping on today, and obviously looking forward to your first spring training with the race system, and wishing you all the luck in 2025. But thank you so much for hopping on.
Yeah, man. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.